Welcome back to the Zero Fluff Books Podcast. I'm Lauren, and today we're diving into the number one bookkeeping mistake I see over and over again. If you caught episode 1, you already know what it is: mixing personal and business finances. But today, instead of just talking about why it's a problem, we're going to walk through what that chaos actually looks like in real life and how you can stop it. Because here's the truth: if your books are messy, your business is stressful. Let me start with a story I've seen 100 different ways. A small contractor, we'll call him James, runs a busy handyman business. He's great at his craft, customers love him, he's booked weeks out. But when it comes to his books, disaster. Every receipt from the lumber yard, the hardware store, the gas station, it all gets stuffed into a shoebox in the back of his truck. At the end of the year, that shoebox is overflowing with crumpled, faded slips of paper. When tax season rolls around, James dumps the shoebox on the kitchen table and tries to do his books. He's holding up receipts he can barely read, trying to remember which ones were personal and which ones were business. Some are for supplies, some for snacks, some for home projects, and they're all mixed together. The result? Stress, hours wasted, missed expenses, and numbers he doesn't really trust. That's the shoebox life, and it's exhausting. Now let's switch to another story, this time from the online seller world. Meet Amanda. She runs a small Etsy shop selling personalized mugs and t-shirts. Sales are steady, and money is flowing in. But here's the problem. Amanda only ever looks at the deposits hitting her bank from PayPal. One week, she sees $134.67. The next week, it's $572.14. A few days later, it's $89.32. She thinks, great, my shop is making money. But is it? When Amanda only looks at deposits, she's missing the full picture. She's not seeing the transaction fees PayPal already skimmed off the top. She's not tracking the refunds or chargebacks. And she's not separating her personal purchases from her business ones, because she's been using the same PayPal account for both. So at the end of the month, she can't tell you her real revenue, her true expenses, or even whether her shop was profitable. All she sees are random deposit numbers that don't make sense. That's the PayPal problem. And it's just as stressful as the shoebox. Now, maybe your version of chaos doesn't exactly look like James's shoebox or Amanda's PayPal deposits. Maybe yours is swiping the same debit card for groceries and business supplies. Maybe it's Venmo payments mixed in with birthday money from grandma. Maybe it's Amazon orders where half the cart was business and half was personal. Whatever your version is, the result is the same: chaos. And here's what chaos costs you: missed expenses. You end up paying more than you should because you didn't track every legitimate business cost. Wasted time. Instead of focusing on sales, you're stuck playing detective with your own bank statements. Stress. You never really know if you're ahead or behind because your numbers don't add up. Risk. If anyone ever asked you to explain your records, you wouldn't have clean proof. That's why mixing personal and business finances isn't just a bad habit. It's the number one bookkeeping mistake small business owners make. Here's the good news. You don't have to live in the chaos. You don't have to keep stuffing receipts into a shoebox or guessing what your PayPal deposits mean. There's a simple fix, and by the end of today's episode, you'll know exactly how to take 3 quick steps that will stop the chaos and start bringing clarity to your books. This isn't about being perfect. It's not about going back and fixing every mistake you've ever made. It's about drawing a line in the sand and saying, from today forward, my books are going to be clean. So if episode 1 was about awareness, knowing the number one mistake, episode 2 is about action. Today we're going to stop the chaos and build the foundation for clean, stress-free books. Ready? Let's get into why mixing personal and business finances destroys clarity, and then we'll walk you through how to separate them starting right now. So why is mixing personal and business such a big deal? Why does it matter if your groceries and your gas receipts are sitting right next to your Etsy supply runs on the same statement? Because mixing destroys clarity. And without clarity, you can't trust your numbers. The first problem is missed expenses. When you're digging through a mixed bank account or scrolling through PayPal deposits, it's almost guaranteed that you'll miss legitimate business costs. Let's go back to James, our handyman with the shoebox. Somewhere in that pile, there are gas receipts, supply runs, tool repairs, and even a couple of work lunches with clients. But you know what else is in that pile? Snacks, coffee runs, groceries, and random weekend expenses. When James tries to sort it all out months later, he's guessing. Was that $48 Walmart run for wood glue and rags? Or was it diapers and laundry detergent? He can't remember, and the receipt is faded. The result? He underreports his true business cost, which means his books show more profit than he actually had. And when your books lie to you, you make decisions on false numbers. And here's another ripple. If you're not capturing every expense, you're robbing yourself of accuracy. That doesn't just hurt you at tax time. It hurts your day-to-day pricing and planning. The second problem is panic. When your books are mixed, every time you sit down to do the numbers, it feels like detective work. You've got a statement full of Target, Amazon, Venmo, and gas station charges, and you're trying to piece together what was business and what wasn't. That's not bookkeeping. That's chaos. Instead of spending 15 minutes reconciling, you spend hours scrolling through your bank app asking yourself, was this business? Was this personal? Did I buy this for my shop or for the house? And all the while, the stress builds. Because deep down, you know your numbers aren't accurate. You know you're guessing. And guessing is exhausting. Think about Amanda, our Etsy seller who only looks at her PayPal deposits. She sees the money hitting her account, but she has no idea what's actually behind those deposits. She's not tracking the fees. She's not separating her personal PayPal purchases from her business ones. So when she sits down to catch up on her books, it's a panic spiral. She feels behind before she even starts. That wasted time isn't just annoying. It's time you could be spending building your business. And then there's the risk. Now let me be clear. I'm not here to scare you with horror stories about audits, but I am going to tell you the truth. Messy books don't hold up well if anyone ever questions them. When your personal and your business money are all tangled, you don't have a clean trail. You can't prove what was a legitimate business expense and what wasn't, and that lack of clarity puts you in a vulnerable spot. It's not just about outside attention either. Even with lenders or vendors, having clean, separated books gives you credibility. It shows you're serious, organized, and trustworthy. Mixed books, they send the opposite message. Think about it. If you walked into a bank asking for a business loan and the banker asked to see your statements, what would they think if your deposits were Etsy payouts mixed with Venmo transfers from your sister and Amazon orders for groceries? It doesn't scream professional. And let's not forget the emotional side. Messy books create constant low-level anxiety. Even when you're not actively looking at them, you know the chaos is waiting. That shoebox is sitting in the corner. That PayPal balance makes no sense. That bank statement feels like a hodgepodge of transactions. It's like having a junk drawer that's spilling over. You try not to think about it, but every time you open it, you're reminded of the mess. That kind of mental clutter takes a toll. And over time, it can even make you avoid your books completely. You stop checking in. You stop tracking. You bury your head in the sand. And that's when small mistakes snowball into bigger problems. So here's the bottom line. Mixing destroys clarity, and clarity is everything. Clarity is what tells you whether you're making money or just moving money around. Clarity is what shows you if your pricing is right or if you're undercutting yourself. Clarity is what gives you the confidence to invest, to grow, and to make decisions without second guessing. Without clarity, you're just guessing, and guessing is stressful. Let me give you a contrasting picture. Imagine Sarah, another Etsy seller. She opened a separate business account the day she started her shop. Every sale goes into that account. Every supply purchase comes out of it. At the end of the month, she pulls one bank statement and it's all business. No detective work. No guessing. Just a clean record of her income and expenses. From that one statement, she can quickly see how much revenue she brought in, how much she spent on supplies, how much profit she actually made. That's clarity. That's the opposite of chaos. And here's the key. Sarah doesn't spend hours doing this because her accounts are separated. Her bookkeeping routine takes minutes, not days. That's the power of separation. So let's bring this section back around. Mixing personal and business finances might feel harmless at first, but it's the fast track to chaos. You miss expenses, you waste time, you add stress, and you leave yourself exposed if anyone ever asks you to show your numbers. But when you separate, you gain clarity, and clarity is the foundation of clean books. Up next, I'm going to walk you through 3 quick wins you can put in place today to start separating your finances. Because the best way to stop the chaos isn't theory, it's action. And I'll show you how to take that action in a way that's simple, doable, and effective. Alright, we've talked about the chaos. We've talked about why mixing personal and business destroys clarity. Now let's pivot to action. Because here's the truth. Fixing this mistake isn't complicated. You don't need a degree, and you don't need fancy software. What you need are a few clear steps that you can put into place starting today. I call them 3 quick wins. The single most powerful move you can make is opening a dedicated business bank account. And before you panic, let me say this. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive. Most banks and credit unions will let you open a basic business checking account with a small deposit. Some even let you open one online in under 20 minutes. What matters is that it's separate. One account where only business money goes in and only business money comes out. Think of it like this. If your personal account is a messy junk drawer, your business account is the clean toolbox where every tool has its place. No mixing, no guessing, just clarity. And here's a bonus. Having a business account instantly makes you look more professional. Whether it's paying a vendor, getting paid by a client, or applying for financing down the road, that account shows you take your business seriously. Now, once you have that business account, here's the next rule. Stop swiping your personal cards for business. This is where a lot of people trip up. You open the business account, but you keep using your personal debit card when it's convenient. One trip to Target turns into, oh, I'll just grab supplies while I'm here. And suddenly your business and personal are tangled again. Here's the fix. Draw a line in the sand. From this day forward, every business expense goes through the business account. Period. Buying supplies? Use the business debit card. Paying for shipping labels? Use the business account. Picking up tools at Home Depot? Business card. And if you accidentally swipe the wrong card, don't panic. Just make a quick transfer between accounts to fix it. The point isn't perfection. The point is consistency. Because every time you use your business account the right way, you're building a clean paper trail. And that trail is what gives you clarity. Here's where I see people get stuck. They realize their books are messy, and they think that they have to go back and fix everything from the past. That's overwhelming, and honestly, sometimes it's unnecessary. Instead, here's what I want you to do. Draw a line in the sand and track from today forward. Yes, it would be nice to clean up the past, and at some point, you might. But what matters most is stopping the bleeding. Every day you keep mixing is another day of chaos. The quickest way out is to start fresh today. From this point forward, every business transaction gets recorded in the business account. Every expense gets logged. Every receipt goes into your new system. Think of it like turning off a leaky faucet. You don't mop up the floor while the faucet is still running. You stop the leak first. Then, if you want to clean up the past, you do it from a place of stability. Now let's step back for a second. Why do these 3 quick wins matter so much? Because they give you clarity, you instantly know what belongs to the business. Confidence, you stop second guessing every purchase. And momentum, once you see how much easier it is, you'll want to keep going. And the best part, these aren't huge complicated changes. They're small tweaks that pay off immediately. Open an account, stop swiping personal cards, track from today forward. That's it. 3 moves that take you from chaos to clarity in a single afternoon. Let's go back to Amanda, our Etsy seller with the PayPal deposits. After living in chaos for months, she finally opened a business checking account. Now, instead of routing deposits to her personal PayPal, she created a dedicated business PayPal linked to the business account. Sales go in, fees come out, and at the end of the month, she transfers the balance into her business checking. For the first time, Amanda knows exactly what she sold, what she paid in fees, and what her real income was. No more guessing. That's the power of 3 quick wins in action. So here's what I want you to do after listening to this episode. If you don't already have a business account, open one this week. It doesn't even have to be labeled business. It could be another personal account that is solely dedicated to your business activity. If you've been swiping your personal cards for business, stop today. And if your past books are messy, don't stress. Just track clean from this point forward. You don't need perfection. You don't need to untangle every knot in your history. You just need to stop the chaos now and set yourself up for clarity moving forward. Because once you do, every other piece of bookkeeping, from reconciling to reading reports to planning for the future, gets 10 times easier. Alright, we started with 2 stories that probably felt pretty familiar. The shoebox full of receipts, and the PayPal deposits that never quite add up. Both are symptoms of the same problem, mixing personal and business finances. And we unpacked why that mistake is so destructive. It leads to missed expenses, wasted time, stress, and numbers you can't trust. It destroys clarity, and without clarity, you can't run your business with confidence. But here's the good news. Stopping the chaos doesn't have to be complicated. All it takes are 3 quick wins. 1. Open a dedicated business bank account. 2. Stop swiping personal cards for business expenses. 3. Track clean from today forward. Don't stress about the past. Those 3 steps are enough to draw a line in the sand and give yourself a fresh start. Now here's what I want you to do this week. Take one of those wins and put it into action. Open that account, or commit to only using your business card from here on out. Or pick today as the day you start fresh. Because small, consistent action is how you build clean books. And clean books equal less stress. And speaking of small, consistent action, that's exactly what we're going to talk about next week. In episode 3, I'll show you how to set up your first bookkeeping system without needing fancy software. Whether it's a spreadsheet, a notebook, or a simple routine, you'll walk away with a framework that actually works and sticks. In the meantime, if you want a little extra help, head over to zerofluffbooks.com. You'll find free resources there that give you simple, practical tools to keep your books clean without drowning in details. And if you found today helpful, share this episode with another small business owner who could use a little less chaos in their bookkeeping. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me on the Zero Fluff Books podcast. Remember, clean books equal less stress. I'll see you next week.